all
even
of July.
Even if we still have any left over, like, we're rapid firing. It's done. We're done with this series.
We know we need to move on to a new topic.
We're moving and grooving over here. I think I'm gonna, just so I don't flash anybody, you know. Whoopsies. These shorts are a little short, so any hoozles, yeah. But anyways, hello and welcome to the Music Lens. I almost said Music Lens Happy Hour. I don't know where that came from. Music Lens Podcast.
Happy hour.
At noon.
At 12:30 on a Saturday.
Which, oh wait, hold on, before we...
Did you say your name? Also Katie Fee.
No, but hi, welcome to the Music Lens Podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
But we got some good content for you today. We got... Hopefully we can get through all of these. If not, again, it's okay.
We just hope that
there's really not a lot gets pulled. Yeah,
gets pulled, and then the others are just gonna have to not happen, I guess.
But before we do that, actually, I think we'll be okay. I don't think we need a bunch of jibber jabber beforehand. Okay. We can save that for next episode.
I feel like I need to say a disclaimer though, because of like listening back to the other parts. I'm like. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, and then don't say much about songs. I don't listen to music that much outside of like making New Music Friday stuff.
I was gonna say, you do New Music Friday every week.
I listen to it for that, but then I'll go back to podcasts. And I think it's just being like a musician and that's your job. And so you're like constantly surrounded by music, so I just listen to people talking more so than music.
Yeah, I never thought that. A lot of people said that people who do music need a separate outlet than just listening to music all the time. And for a long time, even when I would be asked, like, what other hobbies do you have? It was like, well, I listen to music, I go to shows, I write music, I record music. Like, it was music, and then more music. Like, it was never, I never turned it off. I was always looking for the next new thing. I was always looking for the next new artist to obsess over. Like, it was never, and lately, it took a long time to really get into podcasts, but now all I listen to is, like, I binge podcasts. Like, that's all I do anymore. And, like, honestly, having just people talk is so much more comforting in the car for some reason than it is to listen to music. Not that you shouldn't listen to music, because you guys, like, should definitely listen to music. And music is great for every other thing, but, like, I find myself reaching for the podcast button more than I do the music button sometimes.
And sometimes when it's your job, you just need a break from music to, like, be able to go back and appreciate it when you get back to listening to it, if that makes sense.
It also creates more creativity in your mind when you step away from it. Like, I still listen to music when I go to the gym. I can't listen to podcasts when I, like, go to the gym or stuff like that. So it's, like... I still open myself up to a lot of new music when I do go back and listen to music then, but it gives you that break and divide to not just sound like everybody else that's currently on the radio. It lets you kind of create your own individuality as well.
Yeah, and I need sound. I can't have just silence, because I know, I guess shout out Nashville Tour Stop podcast, because I know they've talked on there a couple times, like, Aaron says he'll just drive home in silence in his car.
Oh, I can't do that.
He's been doing music for, like, 6-hour shows? Yeah. Stuff like that. I can't do silence. Same. I have to have something. So I'm like, if I'm tired of music and need a break from it, then podcasts are where it's at for me. But all that being said, just to say, like, if I don't have, like, a whole lot of thoughts, it's because I have listened to the song. It's just been a while. So since I'm not listening to music as frequently, it's like, sometimes it's just... I'm struggling to, like, remember stuff of it because it's just been a while since I've listened to it.
That's fair. I also just talk a lot, too.
Yeah, but I think there's ones where it's like you haven't even heard it, and then I'm supposed to be the one saying things, but I don't have too much to say, or I'm, like, struggling to, like, recall things. So that's why. It's just because it's been a while since I've listened to some of these.
That's fine.
So that was just my little disclaimer, but do we want to get started?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I think it's your turn to go first.
It is, because you yelled at me last time.
I know.
I went to go make TikTok clips, and I watched that part back. I was like, damn, okay, Alex.
I was in a mood last week. That's why my current TikTok feed on my personal account is what an intro, because I was just like, you really just, we had done double recordings that day, and I just was trying to boost my morale, and I was like, I am so tired. I finally have a week, like 2 days, where I purposefully took some time for myself Mm-hmm. And honestly, I needed that so much. I didn't realize how burnt out I had become with how much I've been doing lately. And I just needed to take a breather, and everything was just draining my battery so much. And I'm a very introverted person, so I just definitely needed to purposefully take time for myself, because lately, like, time for myself has just been like, oh, take a nap and like move on kind of thing. But there's a difference in like, oh, I'm gonna just like hang out. It's like, no, I had to purposefully sit myself down and like not just be glued to my phone and like give myself permission to actually slow down and not feel like, okay, I'm by myself, but I need to be doing 50 things still. Mm-hmm. And like, I was burning myself out. So burnout's real, people.
It is.
Don't take it for granted.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with our friend Amanda McCarthy.
Oh,
Vodka,
yay! I love that song.
Came out in June.
Yes,
I think it's my favorite. She's releasing stuff a lot this year, but it's my favorite so far of what's been put out.
Yeah.
She posted a thing about doing, how she loves mixing up her styles and stuff, and like doing the stripped back thing, but then also like a big production thing. This one was a big production one, but she's I think throughout the year still planning to continue to release on like a back and forth schedule with it. So I like that she's kind of switching it up of going back and forth between stripped back and full production. But this one's really fun.
It's fun, but it also touches on a serious topic of hers.
Yeah, of like
her sobriety journey. And
she had her release show for it and was talking about, well, I guess it was,
which I took no, I didn't take pictures for that, but I took pictures for a different show.
Wait, no, that was a different one. I'm thinking the release show was around that we did at Commodore Grill. I'm thinking back to May. She played Bowery Vault, and she talked about how I think that was like her 1-year sobriety date too.
Yeah.
But how she was releasing a song about alcohol still, of back when she did drink, and it was never like an alcohol problem with her. I want to say that, but like it just didn't like how it feels when she drinks kind of thing, and it's healthier not to. I hope I'm saying things right. I don't want to be putting words in her mouth of what she said.
Well, if you want to find out her story, go to her page.
But yeah, she's very open to talking about it on her socials. So if you want to hear directly from her, go check her out at Amanda McMusic on all the things. But this one is just like how certain alcohols for certain people make them do things, and so vodka like makes her have no filter talking. So it's a fun little song about that.
I tried to figure that out with myself for a long time. I was
like, I have that.
I definitely like I noticed a difference between like a beer buzz versus a wine buzz versus a hard liquor buzz for myself.
I haven't paid attention to it enough,
and
I think.
I know with clear liquors, I normally end up in the car crying on my way home. Whiskey, which is like my go-to a lot of times, is normally it gives me like I want to beat a bitch up. And then wine makes me want to sit on the couch and like have girl time and like be very like open feelings. Mm-hmm. And then beer doesn't really do anything besides just like your typical drunk Alex out and talking and being chill. So
I don't think I've noticed differences between different things for me.
I just always wanted to know if it was a thing.
Yeah. I have noticed the last few times I've had red wine, I've gotten heartburn. So there's that. That's not an emotional type reaction, but...
It is a reaction, though.
It is a reaction, and I guess that's on aging or something. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, can I have red wine, or do I have to stop drinking that? Because that's kind of sad. But because I'm more of a red wine girly over white. But yeah, so... I don't know. Maybe I try it again and see if it happens again, and then that will be the call to stop drinking red wine if it happens a third time.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Are we doing confetti again?
Yeah.
That was more of a volleyball swap there.
You look like you love me, Ella Riley Green.
Ella Langley.
It's a Langley. Oh my gosh. No, I just like could not get it out. Sorry, Ella.
And Riley Green. Yeah, I love this one because it's such a throwback classic, like talking country kind of thing. Like,
really?
Makes me think of how Johnny Cash will have verses where he's just like speaking as opposed to singing, and then the chorus is where the singing happens.
Oh, okay. Those aren't my favorite kinds of songs, but
well, it's just very nostalgic of like the classic country era by having it that way. But there's so many people on TikTok who are like not really angry, but like the jokingly angry of like jealous of Ella singing with Riley.
Because it's Riley. Because everyone has crushes on Riley. Yes, yes.
I love his dog, I'll tell you that.
His little corgi.
Little Carl the cowboy corgi. But yeah, it's all over TikTok, and it's like a trend to do the "excuse me, you look like you love me" hook is a trend right now.
Oh, so. Okay. I'm trying to think if that sounds familiar, but
yeah. I saw Brent Snyder posted he got to go to the BMI rooftop party the other night, and she was playing, and I was
like, that's Ella. Cool. Okay, yes, I did see that then. Okay, hold on.
I can't remember the name of it, but she's been pushing another one that I think is coming out in August, and it's leading towards a debut album. So I saw her open for Randy Houser at the Ryman in, I want to say 2022 or something like that. And like, she was good, but not like a memorable performance, if that makes sense. But I feel like her sound has changed now, and she's really found like her niche of what her sound is. And so now that that's all coming together, like, I love that it's like all coming together and also blowing up at the same time, that it's like a perfect storm of things.
Well, that's the whole point, is once you find that it's like, it's because it's blowing up and doing really well, which we'll talk about in the next episode. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. It's my your turn. I'm gonna forget. Bulletproof, Nate Smith. So this one, I can't remember when it came out this year, but there's also a version with Avril Lavigne that
it's this one. Okay, yeah.
Was that ACM Awards that performance happened? So some people have commented about how this is like the same idea in a way as Drink You Away. Or like it's similar lyrically to Drink You Away, Justin Timberlake.
I was gonna say that song, yeah.
Which also is the song I was trying to think about on whatever part it was where I was like, he has a country song that's not with Chris Stapleton.
I thought we mentioned that one.
Did we?
I think so.
I might have been trying to think that it was a different one, but that's the one. But because it's like, I've tried Jack, I've tried Jim. Like, it has that too in this one. But I don't know. I love this one. I don't care for Avril on it, so I kind of like his version without her. Really? It was a cool moment for an award show, but like, just as far as like which one I would prefer to stream, I would prefer to stream the original.
Gotcha. But
it's a fun song. Nate Smith's got a lot of cool music out there.
Okay.
That one was more like confetti.
Vital Signs, Gracie Carroll.
Gracie Carroll is doing, I think, a cool thing, but it makes me think of like Devin Dawson also did this a while back.
I was going to say, it just reminds me of Symptoms, Devin Dawson.
Doing a medical themed songs type ideas. I think Devin was only a handful of songs on that album that had it, but she's doing like a whole project surrounding medical term type songs. But they all work well, I think. So I like that. But Vital Signs is the most recent one of them. Trying to think if any else came out this year, or if they were all last year, but yeah, I love that she like came up with this concept and it's working well for having all these songs like that.
Yeah, I love a concept.
Yeah, because there's Vital Signs, there's Heartburn. Why am I blanking on all the others? There's just look her up. She's great. She's like queen of TikTok content, because I think both of us have, well, you've done a little bit of like the doing TikToks in public of songs, but she does it all the time, and I'm like, it's probably just one of those things where you have to just do it and get used to it.
Yeah, I know. I want to do the same thing that she does at the bars all the time with like my songs.
Paranoid. But plenty of people do it. It's now where people, if they think it's weird, it's whatever, because it's like, you gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, I still get some looks though every once in a while.
But it's like, okay, most people I feel like are like, it's fine. That's normal nowadays to see people making TikToks in public. It's your turn.
Yes.
No, it's not.
No, it's your turn.
I'm doing this every time. It's fine. Cowboy Carter, Beyonce. There we go. This was the big one that we were waiting to pull at some point here. So, yes. Yeah.
So, I love the whole concept of it. I love that she did going back to the roots. I love that she broke what was stereotypical country because it's not what real country is. And it originated from blues and, African culture coming over. Right. And, like, that's how country music and, like, it all blended together. And then, like
how you think of, like, different genre, but if you've seen the Elvis movie, it does show how he, like, got his sound from African American culture and stuff. Yeah. And, like, that's, like, early rock and roll, but the same can be said for country, too.
Right. The fact that people have a problem at all with it is ridiculous in my mind at all, but...
Yeah, country music's always been a blend of different things. So, again, with people... anyone who's like, oh, that's not country, of like things that are more pop leaning, I'm like, well, country's always kind of been a mix of things.
And modern day country is really more in the storytelling and like select instrumentation than it like steel guitar and fiddle inclusion than anything else, to be honest.
It's such a wide genre, because of that.
Which means
like, it's
literally
more of, like,
anybody
the
can do it.
Of the lyrics, I think, too, than the sonic sound.
It even goes back to, like, we're so far past just having to be born in the South and have a Southern accent to sing country music at this point. So it's like... the argument shouldn't hold up as much anymore as people like to think it does. Yeah. I'm going to pull up
I think of, like, Shaboozey, which I don't think I put in here. Did we put it?
No, I don't think so.
But Bar Song, and then in parentheses, Tipsy, like, that is, like, just
it's already a
country
song.
version of Tipsy by, what's his name? I sent it to you.
Everybody in this bitch getting tipsy.
Is Club, not, okay. But,
that's the clean version, the real version, or that's the club version of it.
They're credited on that song as songwriters, because it's just, like, a different version of it, a country version, and it's literally, I think, because it says bar instead of club is the factor, and then there's a fiddle. Yeah. But, I still think that's considered country because it's more of the pop leading country, but it's still country.
Yeah. Obviously, this is an album that is such a concept album that, like, it's hard to just put shuffle on this album unless you just take out the songs, because it has, like, those speaking parts intermixed with it that, like, share the message. I loved the 2 singles that came out to promote the song, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. Such great songs.
Someone was like, I don't think we can do someone had requested Texas Hold'em Downtown the other day, and the band was like, I can't do that acoustic. I'm like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. What are you talking about?
Like, give me the guitar, I'll do it.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is literally any song can be done acoustic.
Some of them don't. I feel like some of them do. I'm like, this doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't sound as good, but...
if people request it, it can be done.
Every song can be played on an instrument and you can sing it. Like, that's what I mean, like, by acoustic. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. So, whatever. I love her rendition of Blackbird, honestly.
I love that she also is, like, lifting up all these other Black female artists in country music on that song. Of having, you have it in front of you if you want to, like, read off all the names?
I can't get all of them because there's a long list, but Brittany Spencer,
I wonder if you can
Tiara Kennedy,
hit the dots,
Tanner Adele,
maybe
View Artists.
View Artists,
there we go. And, is it Raina Roberts? Sorry. I just didn't know if it was...
Yeah, I love Tiara and Brittany. So, those are the two I know more.
Yeah, I knew who Tiara Kennedy was from. Of those, and then, obviously, we talked to Brittany Spencer last week. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to love this entire album to its core. Mm-hmm. I like a handful of songs. I don't like the slower ones a lot, or the ones that, like, she really did a lot of experimentation on. But even those ones have grown on me. Like, I really didn't like Bodyguard, but the more I, like, listen to Bodyguard, the more I kind of can get into it.
That's also just, like, a scientific thing of the more you listen to stuff, the more you like it.
Yeah. Loved her rendition of Jolene, but I've never really cared for the song Jolene in general, so it's not something I'm putting on just because it's played so much. Like, for me, it's one of those, it's just overplayed song. 2 Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus. I wished it was still a single. Like, I don't know why that wasn't a number one single. It should have been. It makes no sense that it wasn't. And then my favorite one on there was Levi's Jeans with Post Malone. It is one of my favorite songs. I will put that on all the time. So
there's a lot of great collaborations. I guess is the sum of that is there's a lot of good collaborations.
Yeah.
Based off the songs that we picked. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I think I love it as like a concept album, and I think it was important for an album like this to be put out. But overall, I don't have like too many like big thoughts on it, just because I haven't listened to it all that much, honestly.
Yeah, I think the slower ones in particular show more of her songwriting and like more in depth in terms of like what she was going for with the album, whereas like the fun, more upbeat ones like Bodyguard and stuff like that, the problem I had with it when I first listened was it seemed very generic. Like even Two Most Wanted seemed like a very generic sounding country song. And I know we talked last week about Post Malone and how he just has a way of making generic sound good. Beyonce's versions of them, sometimes I was just like too distracted by the genericness of like the lyrics. But again, the more I listened to it, the more I loved it. I love Two Most Wanted now. I love Levi's Jeans. Like they weren't like, but there's a couple songs on there, like Riverdance too, that I sound more like a Beyonce song than they do like a country song too. So like it hits its marks to some degree, and then it doesn't for me for other marks. I know everyone loves it though, so I knew I was gonna have some backlash on that, but like I give her all the respect and all the props that it deserves. I think if it's not at least Grammy nominated, then we've all misinterpreted and misjudged the world entirely. Like I will give it that. I think it at least should be nominated for everything at the Grammys. And I don't know if she's doing a tour with it. Is she?
I'm not sure.
I think if she, like, that'll be a cool tour whenever. I think it is.
I don't really keep up with her enough to, like, know what she's doing touring-wise.
But, yeah. And again, I think Beyonce is immensely talented. We're getting to the bottom. Okay, Sabrina Carpenter, Please, 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 and Espresso. This was one that got cut out from the first one, too, so we should have already done it. But first of all, love these songs. Cannot wait for the album to come out. Love the girly pop. This is one that when we talked about last week, that I think marketing really depends on the audience telling you what your niche is. She is one person that, like, she has had 6 albums out, and finally Nonsense took off. And now she's really, like, diving into that niche. Like, she is one of those people that, like, people really told her what her niche is going to be. And now, as much as, like, and, you know, I think we all, a part of your niche is obviously going to be a part of you in some way. And I liked old Sabrina a little bit more than, like, I like this persona of Sabrina, but maybe that's just me. But,
I don't know old Sabrina, honestly. So.
I loved, like, Sue Me and, like, that version of Sabrina. I wished that was going to be her niche, but it's fine. I heard Espresso and Please, 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 and was like, I know I'm going to love these songs eventually. I hated them at first, but I was like, I know I'm going to love them though. And here I sing them all the time. They're such good songs. I'm so excited for this album. I want her merch so badly for this niche though of it. I loved Nonsense when it came out. I loved that whole album. Honestly, Emails I Can't Send is like so underrated. It was such a fantastic album when it came out in the first place that then, I was like, oh my god, I loved Nonsense, and then it got played so much that I was like, I can't with this song anymore. And then like Espresso, but I've been listening since like day one. Sabrina, I used to cover Can't Blame a Girl for Trying from her first album. So like I've been with Sabrina through a lot. And so it's just interesting to see where her career is now. But I also, the reason I hated Please, Please, Please at first too was the modulations, how it modulates every fucking chorus and verse.
Yeah, the chorus is the same key, so it keeps going back and forth.
And then, but I love the motherfucker. Like, that's so fun, and I know a lot of people have it as their vocal stems, but it's just so fun.
Yeah. I did like a this was a while ago now because I mentioned this the first time we talked about it, but I did like a quote unquote country version cover, and I literally just did verse 1 and chorus because I was like, I could do these guitar chords, but it's gonna be harder. So
yeah.
I haven't tried playing it out downtown or anything, but because of that. But yeah, it's a fun song. Espresso is also a fun song. It's like she's battling herself for Song of the Summer with those two.
I did a dance in hip hop class to Espresso, and I still want to post it, but I haven't like re-recorded it because I messed up one part on the video from class, and so I keep wanting to like. I still remember the dance, so I'm like, I just need to go out and film it one day. But I'm also just like, I think about it every time I get home from work, and then I'm like, I'm tired, and I have 50 other things I need to do, so that I never get around to it. But
that's fair.
It's one of my goals.
But
okay,
yeah.
Moving on, since I know everyone on Earth has heard the songs.
In Search of the Antidote, Fletcher?
Yes, Fletcher.
This is for you,
I love Fletcher so much. Let's talk about it. The album has, I definitely, when it first came out, back in like January, I want to say, maybe February, somewhere like in there, listened to it on repeat. And then other things came out, and I listened to those more than I do this now. She was, like, the it person back when she was friends with Kelsey, and then, like, they had this, like, falling out. Now, I haven't heard from her in a hot second, but I do know she was on tour for a while. I love Fletcher so much. I've been a Fletcher fan since Undrunk came out, like, and, I just always have loved her. But this album, my favorite is just the hot tea of it, because I didn't even realize until like I listened to the whole album, and she has Kelsea Ballerini's supposed laugh in one of the songs on her track 5.
Yeah.
And she did the whole Taylor, like, oh, you should hear my track 5 thing. I love it. It's so messy. That's the thing I love about Fletcher. She is kind of messy if you know the lore. I just don't always know her lore. I was going to look up the track list, but I'm not going to do that. But no, there's some good songs on there for sure.
Is the song with Kelsey on this album, or is that a different thing?
No, that's her last album.
Okay.
Yeah, which is such a good album. Oh my god, I loved that album.
That was, didn't that come out not too long after Kelsey's EP or something? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I love that each Fletcher album sounds very sonically different than the last one, which is like, it's still very synth poppy, but like if you listen to stuff she's doing now versus like when Undrunk was like big, it's very different. So I just like that about her, that she keeps it different. But she also talks a lot about like her struggles with people like in her lives, and how like it affects her and her depression and anxiety and mental health around that, which is why I relate to it a lot. So it's just, I really like it. And she's a messy bitch that we love. So
fights. Schwa. Oh, that one went
that
for
one was
a while.
pretty. Okay. Nashville, Tennessee by Ernest. I do not know this one.
Okay. I was sending you stuff from this one.
You
can you
were?
look up the track list? That might be helpful.
Oh, this is an album.
Yeah.
Oh.
He did like a whole marketing campaign as if he was running for mayor for Nashville.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
That was fun. It's interesting because there's like the like standard sonic sound that like, you know, Ernest, Hardy, Morgan Wallen all have like a similar sound.
Yes.
Some of them are like that.
But
then there's some that are like classic
Roll.
country. Yeah. I went to college. I went to jail featuring Jelly Roll was like the first one. And yeah, that one's a fun one. Just based off of the title. That kind of is the gist of it. So there's not really more that needs to be said about it. I was sending you. Where are they? He did a country version of Creep featuring Hardy, like classic country version, and I was like, what is this? But also kind of love it. He also has Slow Dancing in a Burning Room cover on there. Okay. But yeah, it's just an interesting album because of like how sonically it changes throughout of like classic country and then his like standard sound of the like Hardy, Morgan Wallen type of country. But yeah, it's also very long. It's 26 songs. How long is Tortured Poets? Just comparison wise. 31. Okay, yeah, because like that's just one album. Taylor's is like a double album with like only a few more songs. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, it's just, I guess, sum up in one word, it's an interesting album.
It is interesting.
Listen to Creep because it's just like, why? But also, I kind of love this.
Okay then.
Yeah. We have like 3 left. So
we're getting
gonna
to
it. We're gonna do it. Eternal Sunshine. Is that Ariana Grande?
Yes, Ariana Grande. So I really liked the album she put out before this one. So I was actually excited when she had a new album coming out because it was also supposed to be like revealing to everything that went on in the last couple years because she had a marriage and a divorce and is now dating someone else, and she was doing other projects, so she was like doing things differently in her career, so it was supposed to like encompass like this whole thing. I don't get it. It's not my favorite thing.
I didn't even know she had music out. The only thing I've heard of her nowadays is Wicked, but that's about it.
Yes and was like big, but there was some controversy over that with like sampling things and for Madonna's Vogue. Okay. And people were like, this is just Vogue by Madonna, and it wasn't credited that she sampled anything, and so like there was some things with that, and they were like, you know, you just like, there's a reason people like it is because it's already been done.
This is derailing, but did we want to talk about, we talked about homemade margaritas a little bit, or mentioned it, and I think we mentioned Pour Me a Drink for Post Malone and Blake Shelton.
Oh,
and how that's the same
and Rolling
intro.
Stones picked up on that now, and so now it's also controversial for that as well.
And Haley, I honestly don't know if it's Haley or Hallie because I don't think I've actually heard her name.
I think
out
it's
loud.
Haley Kearns. Yeah,
is it Haley? I think we said Haley too, but I just was like, I want to acknowledge I don't know for sure, so I'm sorry if it's wrong. But she had a TikTok of 2 phones with both songs, and they hit play at the exact same time, and like up until the words come in, it sounds like just one song's playing.
Yeah,
and I was like, I wonder, because it is getting a lot of views on those videos and stuff, and if Rolling Stone picked up on it, I'm like, is this going to lead to any legal thing?
Oh, I'm sure. But the problem is that normally in those kinds of situations, the other person has some kind of room to like stand on to go after the other person, like in the Olivia Rodrigo versus like Paramore situation. Like Paramore was the bigger artist. This time, Haley is the smaller artist that did it. And so I don't think she's just gonna go after and start suing Post Malone and Blake Shelton. Like, hey, so it's like, give credit to me. It's a little different this time, but I'm sure something will be resolved in some way because it doesn't look great for Blake and Post Malone. So I'm sure their record label or PR, somebody's gonna take care of the situation.
I what song it was, but people in the comments were saying I Had Some Help sounded like a different song too. So it's interesting that there's a couple of Post songs that are
we did mention that there is genericness to it, and it's fun and good. Also, but I will say, I Had Some Help sounds just like so many other country songs in the market that it's like, is it really gonna matter at the end of the day? I don't know about that one, but
and then he has one with Luke Combs that they filmed a music video for the other day,
downtown on Broadway. So we'll see what that one sounds like.
It has a song on there on the clips that I've seen. But yeah, they're like driving on the back of this truck or whatever down Broadway, and they have like clips that they're like clipped onto the truck. I'm like, what's that gonna do if they fall though? Are they just gonna get dragged? I know it's a safety thing, but I'm like, is it short enough that they're not gonna fall off? Okay, good.
I also want to know, there was porta potties on that truck, and I was like, are the porta potties part of the scene? Like, are there just gonna be porta potties in the background? Like, I'm very interested to know. Or was it just like in case they had to go to the potty?
No, I don't think that would be it. But yeah. Sorry, that was a whole derailment tangent.
No, but that's fair. I didn't really have much to say. Like I said, I wanted to really like this one, and I know I have friends that like love and the people that love Ariana like go to town for her. So like, hopefully no hate from it. But like, I wanted to like it. I think she tried to be all poetic about things, but it didn't really give answers to like what she was trying to give answers to. Nor did it like. We can't be friends, and I don't know if it's like maybe I'm stupid, but like I had to sit and like read the lyrics, and I still don't like entirely get the metaphors in it. But to me, that also says that like you didn't do your job as a songwriter. If it should be like poetic, but you shouldn't have to sit and like analyze it for an hour and look up every sentence to try and understand what she was trying to say to a degree. Like. And I get maybe that's why people get frustrated with Taylor, and I don't know if it's because I'm just so deep in the Taylor well of it, and like maybe I know the lore so much, but like I didn't know the lore even with that stuff, but I could Taylor, still understand what the songs were about.
You can still enjoy the song without knowing like who it's about or anything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go a little deeper in to analyze if you're trying to figure out which X it's about or whatever, but like, if you just want to take it at face value as a song, it still makes sense for a story.
I just feel like the songs, everyone was saying like how powerful some of these songs were, and I'm just like, I would just like to know what your interpretation of it was, because for me, like the interpretation just didn't hit. And again, I was like, maybe I'm admitting stupidity here, and like, but for me, it didn't hit. So I was just like,
I guess I didn't even realize like that I've heard a song, and you said we can't be friends. I'm like, okay, I haven't heard the full song. I've just literally heard like that line of the song over and over again on TikTok, and that's about it.
Like, my problem was, let me read you the chorus and see like what your interpretation of it is, because for me, I just like didn't get it. Because apparently it's supposed to be about the press like liking her.
Okay.
But maybe I shouldn't have told you that beforehand. So it's, we can't be friends, but I'd like to just pretend. You cling to your papers and pens. Wait until you like me again. Wait for your love. I'll wait for your love.
Yeah, that
like
there's
that
like a disconnect
make
of like
sense completely. Like it feels like it's like half a thought there instead of the full thought.
They don't connect together line to line where you can draw a whole.
And there's obviously like the whole song is like the whole, and like this is just to like tie things in, but like I don't know. There's just like something missing to the song. Like I'll read one of the verses. I didn't think you'd understand me. How could you even try? How could you ever even try? I don't want to tiptoe, but I don't want to hide. But I don't want to feed this monstrous fire. Just want to let this story die, and I'll be all right. And then we can't be friends. Like, see,
there needs to be a little
missing,
more detail,
right? And I get
that's
the whole
not vague,
show
so
me, like, instead of telling me. Like, I get that that's a songwriting thing, like, and I'm all for it. I don't have the hype for this one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like it. So. Is it my turn?
It is.
2 left, bitches!
And we're
on good time.
Hey.
To Be Honest, Neil Arts.
That is an album. And I'm going to need the track list to remind myself what's happening with it. Like I said, I don't listen that much to music. So I'm like, wait, it's been a while since I listened to this. I know that there's good songs on it from like the singles that came out. But I just need to remind myself. I'm drawing a blank, and I hate that I'm drawing a blank because I love to Neil Arts. And I do know that this is a good album, and I think there's a lot of good lyrics and a lot of good like topics in it of like I guess just things that like women go through in life and stuff like that. But I can't think. I'm drawing a blank as far as like any lyrics coming to me to have any more intellectual thoughts on it. So go listen to it for yourselves. I do recommend it. I just can't be more specific of like details.
Okay.
So, but I guess that's probably okay. We are doing well on time, but then we're not like drawing too much. I can't read it.
It's empty.
I can't read this one very
Older by Lizzie McAlpine. So I put this in here for a number of reasons. Yes, you do.
I do.
You know the song Ceilings but it's over.
Oh, okay.
And you're driving me home.
Yes. There we go.
So, I put this in here really just to talk about her performance at Bonnaroo. Okay. Because she played the whole album basically at Bonnaroo. I have the hiccup, sorry. She is a very good songwriter. She's very emotional with her work. She's very in touch with, like, getting deep and very good with the poetry and that. And, like, okay. I went to see her Bonnaroo set, and everyone was very vibey, very like, okay, it was a very quiet kind of setting. I really couldn't get into it until she sang God Bless the Broken Road by Rascal Flatts, which also isn't a Rascal Flatts song. It's a cover song, but they sang it for the Hannah Montana movie, and she used that version of it. So, fun fact for you. And every time I think about that, I just think of the fact that somebody once said that Rascal Flatts is just the greatest cover band because their whole first album
is also not.
So it's just funny because they do have really great songs, but it's just funny that their start was for movies that were cover songs. But anyways, I almost sobbed when she sang that. So it has a fantastic voice for getting across emotion, which is a very good thing to have as a songwriter and a performer because it's very hard to do that. My problem is, I think if you're a big fan of her and a big fan of going to sad concerts and you don't want to stand and have fun, okay, well, not have fun. You don't want to stand and dance at a concert, and maybe you're, like, the sit-down kind of person at a concert. Like, that's how I felt at John Mayer's concert, even though he was fantastic. Felt like the audience was very sit-down most of the concert, which is fair.
Is it?
I love John Mayer's show. Don't give me shit. Anyways.
No, I mean, is it fair to sit at a concert?
But that's me and Katie's perspective, is I don't think you should sit at a concert. So, her setup felt like you were sitting in either a living room or you were sitting in the recording studio. I felt it was more like sitting in a recording studio. Everyone was sitting down on a chair. They had the, like, piano synths over here, and she would trade back and forth from that. She had big headphones that were connected to, like, a recording, like, sound back stuff. And she had them on the whole show, and she would, like, sit and sing one song, then put the headphones on, go to the piano, sit and sing and play. Like, so it felt like you were in the recording studio with her. Which is a very interesting concept if you were going to see her at a concert, at her show. And you expected all that. And you could sing along and everything. It is not the type of performance that you want to go see as a festival. Which was what I had a problem with. So
another Eric Church situation of...
Everyone was, like, laying down in the pit. And, like, and they were all fans of the music. So, like, that's where I had a problem, was it wasn't really, like, concert. I mean, it wasn't really, like, a festival. Because when you go to a music festival, you want the ravey, big, loud, dancing all around, having fun, getting sweaty, like, not caring kind of attitude. So, that being said, I did sit and, like, actually listen to the songs, and that's why I put it on here. But, like I said, it was just not festival. And she has no up-tempo songs either on that album. That is if you want to sit and cry at listening to an album, there's an album for you. And again, nothing wrong with it. And that's why I think I included Billie Eilish's stuff earlier and why I made that comment in, like, part 1 about... If you she has a very good way, though, of having a concert setting where you're not sitting and crying the whole time. Like, you're still up and dancing and having fun. And I think that's a very special, different thing that, like, even though she has that big drop-off of sounds and stuff, too, like, she doesn't keep it there. And even those songs, you still want to get up and dance for some reason. Lizzie's just was, like, very one-toned. And again, just an observation, just an opinion. You don't have to care at all. Maybe you just want to sit and go to a concert and cry the whole time. That's just not how me and Katie do concerts. We are. If you are not standing and sweaty and your feet hurt you by the end of the night, you didn't do the concert right. So
unless you have, like, a medical reason.
Obviously. Yeah, we're not mean, but like
I'm always the one in the the section that wants to sit, and I'm looking around like, these other sections are standing. Why am I the one that wants to stand in a sitting section?
That is not Katie and I. So that's why it was just hard. And that's why I just wanted to talk about it, because I think I had a conversation with somebody who also really wanted to go see her, and I said that, and she was like, oh, that's a really fair point. So, I think sometimes sometimes people aren't festival people, and I think sometimes you just need to know that about yourself, So.
Yeah. Cool. That was all of them.
Was it. We did it.
Did you make it through this 4-part journey with us?
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Start sending us in stuff now for the next 6 months worth of material.
Yeah, if there's something you really want to hear.
It will probably be... We're gonna hopefully do a 2-part one for that one.
Yes.
And it will probably be like one of our last things in the year before we take a break.
I think we'll probably, because people usually don't release stuff other than Christmas in December, so probably do it in December as opposed to waiting until January. So, yeah.
So
my knee is hurting me, so this feels weird. I feel like I'm just like in fetal position now.
You look fine,
but it's fine. But yeah, if you have something you want us to discuss on the next one, then feel free to send
Or
that
if you really hated this whole series and you want us to know, feel free to tell us.
Sure. Go ahead, tell us.
You can tell us. You don't have to listen.
It's fine. Yeah. So you can email those suggestions and stuff to themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com. I guess you could also DM us on socials or go follow us on socials at the Music Lens Podcast on all the things. Rate and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever they allow you to rate and review podcasts that you're listening to, because that helps with the algorithm and things for us to get to reach a broader audience.
It is a free way to support the podcast. It is very helpful, and it is free
to support that way. Yes, free ways to support. You could also share with friends. Spread the word of the Music Lens Podcast. Follow Alex at Alex Allegra Music and myself at Katie Fee Music on all the socials. Stream our music anywhere you stream said music. And I think that's everything. So
we will see you guys next time.
Yes.
Bye.